I'm back on the subject of the law of proper speech. The book of Proverbs chapter 18. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Death and life. Whether you live or die depends on your words. If we can train God's people how to speak right, they can get every aspect of their lives under control. The Bible said in the book of James chapter 3 that the tongue is like the steering in a car. With it, you can direct the course of your destiny, the course of your future. The tongue is like the rudder in a ship. It's like the beads in the horse's mouth. As powerful as the horse is, once you control the mouth, you can control the horse. If you can gain control of your words, gain control of your tongue, you can control your whole destinies. Your whole destiny is in your mouth. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 16. The law of proper speech. You shall not go up and down as a talebearer among your people. Neither shall you do anything that will endanger the blood or the life of another person. It is prohibited to go up and down a gossiper, just bearing gossip, bearing tales among God's people. Even beyond the church, in a community, in an organization, it is forbidden. The first law of forbidding speech is gossip. The second one is slander. Don't ever do anything that will endanger the life of another person. Thou shalt not stand against the blood of your brother, your neighbor. Verse 17. Thou shalt not hate your brother in your heart, and thou shalt in any wise rebuke your neighbor. You have issues. Go talk to the person. Rebuke the person. Tell the person. But don't go around telling other people. And when it comes to the law of gossip or slander, even if it's true, because there are two types of gossip. One is you go to somebody and take their confidentiality because they allowed you into their life. You take personal information you know about them and go and spread it. The second type is you go to people, you hear things they said about another person that is not good, that is not edifying. Then you go and carry it and go and tell them. So you end up destroying three people. You destroy yourself, you destroy the person you gave the bad news to, because now you have polluted his heart against somebody else. Then you also destroy another person's reputation. Slander destroys three people. It harms the person that gave his mouth to it. It harms the person you are giving that message to, and it harms the person you are talking about. Remember, anytime you speak evil about somebody, you destroyed your soul first, and you just minus some of the time allocated to you to live on earth. The more slander you engage in, the more your days on earth are being shortened. Psalm 34, let me read from verse 11. Come, you children, hearken unto me, and I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Anybody that fears God, anybody that loves God, must first learn how to control his tongue. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Yes, okay. How does it start? Verse 12. What man is it that desireth life, that love many days? If you want to live long, that's many days. That he may see good, if you want to prosper. Three major things. Not knowing how to talk affects your prosperity. It affects your longevity. It affects your health. That's why many people are sick. They were wounded by their own tongue or by the tongue of others. He said, anybody that love good days, that love life, that want to see many days, want to live long, and wants to be prosperous, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking guile. The first one is keep your tongue from speaking evil about others, and keep your lips from telling lies. That's what guile is. Can you give me another translation? Verse 12, one more time. Yes. What man is he who desires life and longs for many days that he may see good? Another translation. NLT. Does anyone want to live a life that is long and prosperous? That's what we're talking about. Verse 13. You want to live long and you want to prosper? Keep your tongue from speaking evil and your lips from telling lies. When it comes to slander, it's two types. There's one, you say it's true, but you are prohibited. You don't go telling things about people, whether they are true or not. You're not allowed. The other one is a lie. You go behind people telling things that are not true about them. Both of them are prohibited. I'll give you situations where people are allowed to give factual information on certain situations. Let me tell you something. Before, I want you to learn this. The rabbis taught me this. The rabbis of Israel. They said, before the devil breaks through into your life or your family to do harm, to do damage, he will engage you on evil speaking. There is something I want you to watch when you leave this service. The rabbi said, before the devil attacks, the first thing he will do, he will engage your tongue. Because he can't. He is limited by the divine protection on believers. But there is something the believers have that open up that hedge, that open up that bad words, evil speaking. He will engage you on another person or engage you on, and then he can lift your hedge and hit. And after he has destroyed whatever, you can now come back and cry. If you train a believer on how to speak right, how to avoid evil speaking, within 90 days to 6 months, most of the prayers that praying happens. If you see any of you here that praying, you're praying for a baby, you're praying for a fruit of the womb, you're praying for a financial breakthrough, you're praying for anything at all, just discipline your tongue between 90 days and 6 months, you see that thing happen. They said, what is hindering our prayer? Our prayers are hindered by the negative speaking. Look at the people that God gave a promise, that the promised land is there. He delivered them out of Egypt. He divided the Red Sea. He did many miracles. By the time they got close to the promise, they started slander. They started evil speak. God said, as you are spoken in my ear, so will I do to you. All of them died in the wilderness except Joshua and Caleb. What defeated them? Was it the giants? What defeated them? Was it the devil? What Satan does is that he knows that he cannot stop you, but he engages your tongue to help him terminate your own destiny. Now you can imagine those 3 million people dying in the wilderness with the same God that divided the Red Sea, did every other thing, couldn't help them into the promised land. What he now did was take their children in. They started saying with their mouth, we are like grasshoppers. We saw the giants. God is not able to take us. God brought us out to kill all of us here. You are not allowed to speak evil about God. You are not allowed to speak evil about yourself. You are not allowed to speak evil about others. You do any of the three, you cut off your 2 legs and you become crippled. You are the one that destroyed yourself by your own mouth. I'm going to repeat it. The law of proper speech, the Bible prohibits you from speaking evil about God, speaking evil about, if you say it about yourself, you're only defaming the image of God. Nothing good ever happens to me. You are the one creating the problem. You see, God made us in his image. God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Add verse 27. And God actually created man in his image. In the image of God created him, male and female. You are like God. That's what we are saying. And because he made us in his image, we are the only creatures that speak, apart from angels. He made other things and shut their mouth. Why did he give us the ability to speak? Verse 26, one more time. God said, let us make man in our image so that they will have dominion. The ability to rule, the ability to govern, the ability to have your word under your control is in your tongue. Because that's how God rules. How does God control the universe? He speaks. So he made us co-creators with God. Our words are not just for communication. Our words create reality. When you speak, you create. You are not just communicating. You are the governor in your world. You are the dominion. God gave you dominion over your own life, over your own world. And the tool he gave you to administer your government is your tongue. Think about government. Think about CEOs. Think about managers. Think about MDs. Think about pilots. Think about parents. Think about teachers. Think about principals. Can any of them carry out their functions without words? Come to class. How do you tell the students? Teach them mathematics. How does pilot communicate? How does the control tower communicate to the pilots? How do you administer a country as a governor, as a president? Can you see that every aspect of life is administered by words? Words is that tool that God gave you so you can exercise dominion. Now, if you don't learn how to talk, the first thing is that you end up using the weapon for governance, the weapons of power. You're using it against yourself. Tools of power, tools of dominion, you're using it against yourself. If you don't have a kobo in your pocket, but you have the right words, you can become a millionaire. How do you do your marketing? How do you manage your staff? How do you administer your business? How do you communicate with customers? Words. You can be poor in cash, rich in words, and you will reverse your financial poverty. But if you're poor in utterance, you're poor indeed. How do you manage relationships? How do you manage your children? How do you manage your spouse? How do you manage your marriage? Words. You fail there, you are failed. If you don't master the art of speaking right, the whole Christian thing is a mess. If anyone seems to be religious and bridle not his tongue, the man is deceiving himself. The man's religion is in vain. If you don't learn to govern your words, it messes up your whole religious affairs. It messes up your worship, messes up your prayer life, messes up your prayers. That's why nothing happens. The bad words is what cripples your prayers. The bad words is what cripples your worship. The bad words is what cripples your destiny. So it's like a pipe that is already clogged up, like an artery that is clogged up, so heart attack will happen. Like a pipe that is clogged up, so water supply is not happening. Not because there is no water, but because it's not getting through to you. Negative speaking is what has put many people in a state of comatose. And until your religious endeavor clean up your tongue, nothing else will work. A man cried in the Bible, I'm a man of unclean lips. I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips. God sent an angel to purge his tongue. That's when his prophetic ministry began. There are things that God has for you, big things, that will not kick in until you learn to put display. Cleanse your tongue, purge your tongue, and purge the kind of things that come out of it. If you get this one place in order, you get your whole life under control. And this same thing is what decides how healthy you are, will decide how long you will live. That's what will decide how many conflicts happen in your life every week. This thing. Every conflict that happens at the individual level, personal level, organizational level is caused by the tongue. Every conflict that happens in a marriage caused by every conflict that happens in a nation. Is there one thing we could have controlled, and even the destiny of the whole country can be under the tongue? Information management is the greatest art there is. It's the greatest skill you have to learn. It's the greatest spiritual discipline there is. The book of James chapter 3 said, man has learned to tame every animal on earth. But who can tame the tongue? Who can tame the tongue? We can tame the lions, we can tame the monkeys and the apes, we can tame even cobras now. Who can tame the tongue? James chapter 3 verse 7. Every kind of beast, every bird, serpent, of the things in the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. Verse 8. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. So most of the time when your emotion is up, that's when you need to shut up. When emotion goes up, reason goes out. Wisdom and emotionalism do not stay together. When emotionalism is activated, wisdom is. When wisdom and prudence comes on, emotion comes under control. So people that are just emotional, they will have a mess, a life that is unstable, a life that is full of problems. You can pray for a miracle and truncate it with your mouth. Whenever your emotion is as that's when to keep your mouth shut. Except we are dealing with positive emotion. There are all kinds of negative emotion, from anxiety to envy to anger to depression. To rejection, to self-doubt. The list continues. To panic, to fear. Whenever negative emotion is up, keep your mouth shut until when emotion goes. Because emotion is like weather. It changes. You leave that place, get into another environment that is up, the weather lifts, the cloud shifts. That's why those of you who believe, I must say it the way I feel it, you will ruin your life. You don't say it the way you feel it. Emotion is not reality. Emotion is your own perception. Emotion colors reality. It gives you a particular perception. Whenever that thing is on, you are seeing a distorted version of reality. Wait till it's down so you can get back perspective. You know, one time we were taking off and the weather is really, you know, in the afternoon, it was almost dark, like early hours of the morning. You can actually say this is 5:30 or 6 a.m. in the morning. Afternoon. The pilot still took off. When we took off on the wrong way, I was watching. I watched as the plane climbed above the sky. It was bright afternoon. You see, that cloud has distorted reality. That's what emotion does. That's what it does. That's how you have thrown away a good marriage only to later regret it. All the things we regretted, all the things that we said that we ever regretted were said under emotion. Negative emotion. You were depressed. You were feeling down. You should have shut up your mouth, because the damage you cause will follow you after the feeling goes. Emotion is temporal, but the impact of words are permanent. You will never change. You are the Lord. Let's sing one more time. You will never change. You are the Lord. You remain. Be careful what you say when you are afraid. Don't speak that fear. Speak faith. Actually, anytime negative emotion is on, act in the opposite direction. That's where the true north is. That's where the correct response is. Act in the opposite direction. You will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. You will never change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. We are publishing that book, The Law of Proper Speech. If you ask me, for everything I've learned in Christianity, this one thing that has power to change this nation. You see, every war you've seen on earth was caused by the mouth. Do you know how we ended up having 1/3 of angels as demons? Slander. Lucifer. The man who slanders does not just damage himself, he damages the listeners. And the rabbi said, the more the listeners, the more the judgment that will come upon that man. The more the number of people that are heard and full, the more the judgment that will come on that person. The book of James chapter 3 said the tongue is like a little fire. It's just a spark, but then it burns down the whole bush. So when you start that rumor, when you start that gossip, you can only know the beginning. You don't know how far it will go. Because the person will tell you, tell me, I'm not your best friend. For one person, sometimes it is racial hatred, tribal hatred. The things we pour out of our mouth. And then it starts war, people lose their livelihoods, people are killed, and in future, you think you are fine. This is what the rabbi said. Anytime you speak evil about someone, you have broken 17 moral laws in the scriptures. I'm going to repeat that. You know, God gave the 10 commandments. Except when you speak slander, you have violated the whole 10 commandments. Except the worst of the 10 commandments are 3. They have death penalties. You have adultery, has death sentence on it. Murder, if you kill somebody, it has death sentence. Then worshiping an idol has death sentence on it, and occultism, gambling into the occult. One slander is like violating the 3 top commandments and more. He said, a man that speaks evil has committed more sin than a man that committed those 3 commandments and more. That broke those 3 commandments. He said, a man that practices, that does slander, evil speaking, have broken the whole of the 10 commandments. Because the summary of the whole 10 commandments is love. That's why in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus said, man that speaks slander is in danger of hell. You wonder, why would they throw him to hell? Is it not just words? 3 million people came out of Egypt. What stopped them? Evil speaking. And it was just 10 people that brought this evil report. 10. There were 12 spies sent to go and spy the land and come back and bring report. 10 of them teamed up and brought a negative report that destroyed the life of 3 million people. One person can destroy 1/3 of the angels. 10 people can destroy a nation. 10. What did they use? Bomb? No. Atomic bomb? No. Poison? No. Something worse than poison. Bad words. A church cannot be healthy till you train them on how to use their tongue. A family cannot be healthy till they are trained on how to use their tongue. A marriage cannot be healthy till the couple learn how to talk. A business cannot be healthy. What can destroy a whole company? The tongue. Next time you're speaking evil about people, know that you are setting something on fire. And it might be small when you start it. Don't walk away and think you have done nothing. You are doing more damage than even demons. If you have demons that can't lie, that can't gossip, and you have a human being that can slander, that human being has 1 million more capacity to do evil than the demon. If you actually can take speaking from demons, you have removed their power to destroy. Can I repeat this thing? If you can take the tongue from demons, you have removed their ability to destroy. Satan's greatest ability is deception and slander. He is the accuser of the brethren, and he is a liar. The man who does evil speaking is Satan's greatest ally. When you see a man sowing seeds of discord or hatred against a tribe, let him be arrested. He's committing more crime than 100 criminals that are on the road with gun. That's how wars are started. That's how nations are brought down. By the mouth of the wicked, a nation is destroyed. By the blessing of the upright, a nation is built. If somebody here becomes a governor, if somebody here becomes a minister, if somebody here becomes a president, if somebody here becomes a pastor, there is one thing you need to teach that nation, that state, that organization, or you need to help control, is the flow of information, and everywhere can develop. Development has a formula. Justice creates peace. Peace creates the enabling environment for prosperity and development. You can't develop where there's crisis. You see? Environment. By the blessing of the upright, the city or a nation is exalted, but is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. What do they do? Evil speaking. If God gives you Jesus, his son, to marry, that's you have the best marriage on earth. You can destroy it with bad words. It can destroy your relationship with God, and it can destroy your relationship with anybody. There are 5 levels of speech. I think I should touch it so I can dwell. The lowest one is what I want to dwell. The lowest is negative speech. That's speaking like the devil. Evil speech. That's the worst. And this one is one I want to deal with today. After that one, there is another one. Is called idle speech, idle chatter. That's where jokes and other kinds of things, useless speech, purposeless words, they don't really have any purpose, any meaning, but we like to talk, so we engage in it, and the Bible is against it. Then right after that, you meet neutral speech or normal conversation, the one we need to run our lives. Communication in marriage, communication in business, communication, marketing, giving news, all types of things are within this. The fourth is positive speech. This is where you speak to uplift others. You spread joy, you spread hope, you spread faith, you inspire people, you motivate people. You speak to uplift, to build up, to heal. That's where positive confession comes in. And this is how God talks. And we are made in his image. We are supposed to speak like him. Speaking words that inspire and uplift other people. Speaking comforting words, inspiring words, motivating words, positive words. And there are different things under this. Faith-filled words. And then the highest level is holy speech. And the easiest way to practice this one is just speak the word of God. Just learn the Bible and speak it. You can speak it over your life. It's the highest level. That's speaking like God. Holy speech is done. Anointed speech. That's what this level is. When you pray, when you worship, so you see, the highest speech is neutralized by the lowest type, which is negative speech. A person that indulges a lot in negative speech pollutes and neutralizes his holy speech and positive speech. When he speaks things that will create like God, there is no power. The power is sapped by indulging in negative energy. And I need to tell you this, the rabbis of Israel said, whenever, and I've read it, many scriptures in the Bible, whenever you speak evil about somebody, probably you think you are better than that person. There is a judgment that comes upon you. They take all your good merits, transfer it to the person, and take the person's sin, transfer it to you, and then judge you for that sin. This is a big warning, because I have ministers of the gospel that have been destroyed by this. You start speaking evil about somebody. After a while, you see the person you're talking about evil moving to higher level, doing better. They take your good merits, add to the person, and reward the person for it. Then they take the person's sins and all the evil merit and transfer it to you, and you are punished for it. The Bible said that Michael, the archangel, when he meets Lucifer in battle, he will fight him, arrest him, kick him out. But one thing he is not allowed to do is to bring railing accusation. He can't slander him. He can't call him names. You do that, Michael too will fall. The holy angels are not even allowed to come and be slandering Satan. They are not allowed to do it. That's why there are certain believers that are not afraid to speak evil of authority, speak evil of dignitaries. He said those believers will be destroyed as brood beasts.